So we decided that for the last part of our stay in the U.S. Virgin Islands, we were going to explore St. John a little bit more. The U.S. Virgin Islands has 3 main islands: St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John. St. John's the smaller of the 3. St. John is also the most sparsely populated of the 3 islands, and something like 2/3 or more of the landmass of the island is dedicated to national parks. So there's a lot of nature to explore, both on land and at sea. And some of the best beaches in the area are definitely on the North Shore part of St. John. So that's the area where we decided to spend our last little bit of exploration and freedom before heading back to the United States mainland.
We are at an old sugar mill at Watermelon Bay, and we are just taking the dog for a walk. And then later on, we're gonna do a sunset hike with the baby and Kelsey. It's a really nice view. There is Jules Van Dyke over there that we can't go to because of the pandemic. So maybe next year we will get to go there. What's this area? Bakehouse.
Seeing that these hills were all terraced and had cane growing on them. So all this vegetation is after the cane fields were stopped being used. There's our dinghy, and there's Honu. In order to understand St. John a little bit better, we started looking at the history of it. In 1718, a group of Danish planters from St. Thomas came just the 4 miles over from St. Thomas to St. John. They made the first permanent settlement in Coral Bay area. The British kind of contested the Danish occupation for quite a while, but in 1762, in order to keep good relations with the Danish, the British backed off and said, okay, Danish, you can own the island. And from that point on, plantations grew like crazy. In just 15 years, 109 cotton and sugar plantations popped up all over St. John. The plantations were a big part of this island's history, and that's why they're worth mentioning. In order to farm on St. John, all the hills had to be terraced. But when they terraced them and removed the trees, it made the soil very thin. So they had to mix ashes and dung into the soil to maintain fertility. But they were able to grow a fair bit of sugarcane. We're going for a walk in Watermelon Bay. A little bit of a hike to go see a sugar plantation up on the hill and watch the sunset. Kira, are you hiking? You got this. You don't need no help. Oh, there's a rock. Easily distracted. Squirrel!
What is this place? It's the Annenberg school ruins. So this is a school?
Hello. Quite the view up here.
Pretty cool. We have more to see up there.
Got a bun on my head, but don't call me a bun head.
So sugar cane requires a lot of manual labor. The only way to make these plantations profitable was for them to have slaves, African slaves, and indentured servants. So a large number of slaves were brought to the island and actually significantly outnumbered the amount of free men. It's worth mentioning, in 1733, there was a huge revolt on the island against the plantation owners and against slavery in general. The revolt lasted 7 months, and it was a really big deal. Basically killed a quarter of the population on the island, about 400 to 500 people. A lot of the slaves ended up killing themselves when they thought they would be captured because they refused to live in slavery. As a result, this was one of the most successful slavery revolts in the entire Caribbean, and it prompted the government to ultimately abolish slavery. When this happened, plantations became extremely unprofitable, and the vast majority of them closed down. The population of the island diminished significantly. It's said that in the early 1900s there was only about 930 people living on the island, and they were just doing subsistence farming and living from the seas.
We're on the Johnny Horn Trail. We're going across the island to Crystal Bay. And there's Honu over there. Took us like an hour.
Yeah. We're here. We did this trail. So we're over here somewhere.
This place is pretty empty because we're in a pandemic.
Yep. But it's pretty.
We're trying to find a little store everyone was talking about, but so far we haven't seen it.
We're on the lookout for, you know, any sign of life. Do you see the goats? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, Arya did that. We walked all this way for some ice cream that I dropped in the dirt.
And those ducks want some. Giving Arya some water. I got some tea. And there's the store. I am sweaty. We gotta walk all the way back.
Yep, and all the way going up. It's gonna be brutal.
At least halfway there is down. Arya went straight to the water. I need my bathing suit on first.
2 hours and 10 minutes and we're back home, baby.
Hello there! This morning we are at Watermelon Bay and Kelsey and I did a hike, and now we are going to Trunk Bay because it's supposed to be a really nice beach and there's no one here. No boats. I guess there's a lot of people that left to go back to the mainland, so it's getting less and less crowded every day. So I guess it's nice. We'll get to enjoy a beach to ourselves. The beaches are open now. It's past April 20th, so we can go on the beach. I'm surprised there's no one here.
The water is way clearer than it was last time we were here. Last time we were here, there was a pretty big north swell coming off a storm from the east coast of the United States, and it was like pretty rough here. We couldn't get to shore. This is our second time here, but there's no north swell right now, and the water's clear and it looks easy to get to shore.
Yeah, last time we had a hard time with the dinghy getting to shore. Kelsey's gonna get the mooring ball over there. Look at this beautiful water. Beautiful beach. She's getting good at this mooring ball stuff. She's a pro now.
Anyone want me on their boat? Whoop whoop. I'm not available. Straight ahead. I love when you stick your head out of that thing.
You can do it.
Pass it over, champ. Thank you.
Kelsey, what's the joke of the day?
The joke of the day is that I'm all out of jokes because everyone keeps asking me for one.
Arya is exhausted from her hike this morning. I want to go see that mill over there. Arya, are you ready?
My legs are jello.
Are you ready? Ryan and I are going to look at the beach and see if it's wavy.
There's a turtle right there.
There's a turtle! You guys can't see it, but it's over there. Look at this water. So exciting.
Reminds me of the Bahamas.
Yeah.
I think it is dinghy mooring.
Oh, so that's where we can moor our dinghy and swim in. I don't know if we'll ever get this beach like this again, with hardly any people and hardly any boats. This is really special. Very excited to enjoy this area. Kira, are you excited you're at the beach? So he has to go park the dinghy over there and swim in.
We're at the beach.
Woohoo!
It's been forever. Kira, come on. What's going on?
It's so pretty. Yay! It's like Bahamas and Turks and Caicos here. You're doing it!
Yep.
Finally!
Wow, Kira! Good job!
We're just exploring and imagining what it would be like with crowds and things being open. We are right here, Trunk Bay. Watermelon Bay is where we came from, so we went.
This is a whole park, and we don't know what it's like.
Yeah, it's just everything is closed.
Even though they like reopened the beaches, there's still, this is all
Yeah,
closed here.
everything's closed. Jump, Kira, jump. Whee! Alright, Ryan, you do it again. So we are off to explore another sugar mill. We had to anchor the dinghy and swim into shore and then find this trail.
And we figured out that our waterproof backpack is no longer waterproof. But luckily the camera didn't really get wet. It just the microphone protector got wet. But good waterproof
Yeah,
bag.
that sucks. I guess we need a different bag.
So down there is the road, and this is like the main trail for most normal people. And then what we just did for the past 5 minutes is for boat people. And I think we're almost there. Whew.
There it is. There is an iguana.
I think it's too early for this. I ain't moving.
There's the other side. That is Hawk's Nest Bay.
So they built these windmills. They had like actual Don Quixote windmill things on them. And the windmills would actually mill. They would grind up the sugar cane and to make molasses and sugar here. So I'm guessing over there in this cleared site was probably where the house was.
Nice view. I wouldn't mind having a house right here. Very nice. Let's go inside. Where's Honu? Oh, there's Honu. Right there. There's Honu. And there's Trunk Bay. So no one's in Trunk Bay, but I see they're all over there. What beach is over there?
Can't remember the name of it. Better cell phone signal over there.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because there's no signal here, which is annoying.
So this is Wadsworth Peace Hill, part of the Dennis Bay Plantation. It was donated to the U.S. Virgin Islands National Park in 1975.
Look, they put coral in the building right here.
This is interesting. It's like a creeper vine, but made out of cactus. I don't think I've ever seen that before. There's lots of prickly things here. And little cactuses on the ground, prickly plants, and I think they even have scorpions here. Fun fact. It's not really the same as Hawaii. Hawaii's more tropical, I think. The next day, the girls decided they wanted to hike to the main town nearby of Cruz Bay.
We're going on Lynn Point Trail. Are you ready? Whoa! Ari has a lot of energy. But this takes us to Cruise Bay, I guess. Gotta go up this hill.
In 1917, the United States bought St. John and the U.S. Virgin Islands from Denmark, and the idea was they wanted to build a military base down there to better position themselves against any German advancements. And this was in World War I. This is when the ownership changed over, and throughout the years in the 50s, they decided that this would be a good place for a national park. So more than 7,200 acres of land and 5,000 acres underwater were all declared Virgin Islands National Park. It's the 20th national park in the United States.
Okay, so we are at Lynn Point Viewpoint, and we came from Honeymoon Beach. So this is the pretty view. I think this is our second to last hike. Kelsey and I are going to do a really hard hike in the morning, I think. And then we'll be stuck on the boat for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
First week to quarantine to make sure we're not sick before we leave, and then an 8-day sail. Woohoo!
We're taking advantage of all the land that we can right now.
Huh? Everything's closed. There's a boutique and all these things are closed. Yeah, we didn't get to see land last time.
Oh, Mexican food.
I didn't think this place would be so cute because we saw it from the boat way over there.
Crackers. Those are supposed to be like the it drink here.
Oh, we never had one?
I had one at Dingy's before they closed down. It wasn't
good?
anything to hype about.
And slowly, the population revived as word got out that the United States now owned this beautiful, perfect weather tropical island that people could go visit. Which brings us up to modern times where, due to tourism, there's been a boom of construction and population growth, bringing new life and new visitors to St. John. We find it fascinating that just this sleepy little island has such a big backstory, and all these hills and beaches have a lot of history mixed into them.
Mini Mart, we found it. And we also found ice cream! Every day after we hike, we get ice cream.
For a long hike.
So that's about it for this video where we explore St. John. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.